Hey everybody, today I have beginning yoga for you. We are going to do a variety of standing as well as some kneeling and seated poses. What you might need is a blanket or a towel if you have tight hips and it's hard to be in some of those seated positions or need padding on your knees. Grab one of those. You may need a strap, might be useful for in some of those positions that it's hard to maybe reach your feet to keep good body alignment. If you don't have a strap, a towel, a belt, a tie, those all work really great as well. So we're going to start in a seated cross-legged position. So again, if you have, tight hips or it just feels more comfortable and you can have better posture sitting up, feel free to prop up in that position as well. And as you're seated in this position, I just want to make sure that you have good alignment through the spine. So you want to sit evenly on those sits bones. Those are kind of the bonier part of your glutes. So kind of find where your pelvis is grounded evenly on both sides. As you sit up nice and tall, kind of lift from the sternum, but still keeping the navel drawn in towards the back, as well as that rib cage stacked over the pelvis. Feel free to open your eyes or close your eyes. We're just going to focus to your breath to start first. So just without forcing any breathing, just whatever that natural breath is, just take some nice even breaths in and out. Just noticing how the breath feels as it enters and exits the body. And using nostril breaths, we're breathing in and out through our nose. As we inhale, we feel our belly and chest expand and that air traveling to the deep part of the back of the throat. And then as we exhale, completely emptying the lungs. Maybe you might notice your exhales or your inhales being a little bit shorter or longer than the other. Just try to take some deep, even part breaths. So on the inhale, maybe your inhales are a count of 4 or 5. Make those exhales match the same as the inhales. And just take a moment to check in with yourself today, see how you're feeling. That could be mentally, emotionally, or physically. And not forming any judgment, just creating awareness to how you're feeling in this present moment. If there is any areas of tension though, just be mindful of those as you move through your poses today. I want you to feel better at the end of the class than you did at the beginning. One more nice deep inhale. And nice even exhale as you breathe out. If you have your eyes closed, begin to open those eyes. Soften the elbows, and I just want you to roll those shoulders up and back. Just feel the movement through the shoulder blade, not focusing on the lifting or the lowering of the shoulders, but more of the elevation of the shoulder blades as they draw down and back. And one last time. Good. Let's add some arms with our breath. As we inhale, we're going to reach up towards the ceiling and then exhale back out. However that feels best for your shoulder. You can do more of a modified range of motion, or you can extend and reach up on that inhale and exhale. Feel that stretch as well. The arms, the lats, and the shoulders. One more time. Take a deep breath in. This time have the palms facing in, sitting up tall, relax and draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Crown of head is lengthening towards the ceiling. We're going to rotate from the rib cage. You're keeping that alignment to the spine as we twist. Bring that top hand onto the knee, and the back hand will just lightly touch back behind So I'm not leaning back into that back arm. I'm not forcing that twist either. It's just a little bit of spinal rotation. Inhale back to the center, palms faced in. Still sitting up tall, keeping that good alignment. Rotate over to the other side. Relax the shoulders down, away from the ears, and just find a comfortable position where your gaze is at for your neck. And now back up to the center. And then this time, release the hands back behind you. And I want you to draw your elbows out. Lift your heart towards the ceiling. Nice big inhales and exhales, full breath, opening the front of the body. And gently release those elbows down by the side. Place one hand off to the side, extending one arm up into the air, or you can have it on the hip if that feels more comfortable for you. We're going to go to the lateral side bend. So soften that elbow of that hand that's in contact with the floor. And then we're just reaching over to the side, opening up that side body. And it stretch all the way down into the hip. Make sure that you're not leaning over, keep both hips grounded to the floor. Inhaling and exhaling back up. Release to the other side. Same thing, extension, and then hinging over from that ribcage. And make sure we're not rotating down and up. Not forcing anything as well. If it's more comfortable to have the hand here on the hip, you can do that as well. If you have that arm extended overhead, that's going to also incorporate that lat. So you feel a little bit deeper stretch through the back of the shoulder, outside of the shoulder blade. Inhale. Exhale, bring it back to the center. Still sitting up nice and tall. Bring the chin in towards the chest to feel a little bit of a stretch through the back of the neck. Not pulling on the head, and we're not rounding the spine. Just feeling that stretch and opening through the cervical spine. Gently coming back up towards the center. And just slowly gazing side to side. Looking over that shoulder, but not forcing anything. Do that one more on each side. Bring it back to the center. We're going to do side bend, side flexion with the neck. We're just going to hinge the ear over to the shoulder without changing positioning in the upper body. With the opposite hand pressing down, if you'd like to deepen that stretch through your upper trapezius muscle. Other option is palms faced up, bringing it around to the small of the back or to the opposite side of the hip. That'll also open up the shoulder a little bit and deepen that stretch. You have your arm in any of those other positions. Bring it back onto the knee, hinging back up. Bring that ear over to that shoulder. You can stay right there. You can press down and away, relaxing both shoulders. And also take that hand palms facing up and wrap it around. Sometimes if you have some stress that's going on, these muscles can get tight, or if you've been sitting a lot or at the computer, gently release that hand and hinging back up. We're going to come on to all fours. Now if you need that blanket, you can pad your knees, or if you have some kind of hard flooring, that might be helpful. We're going to place your knees underneath the hips, and the hands will be coming directly underneath the shoulder. I want you to rotate your pelvis forward and back, and then just kind of find a neutral position. So it's your pelvis isn't hinging all the way forward, it's not hinging all the way back. It's just in a little bit of a neutral alignment. We're going to make some circles with our hips. Those circles can be small or big. We want to keep a neutral back position though through our lumbar spine. So keep that navel drawn in towards the spine, and you're looking down towards your mat to also keep that neck in neutral alignment. Just alternating those circles side to side. And one more time each side, and then we will meet in child's pose. In child's pose, you will be sitting back towards your heels. Your arms can either relax down by your sides, or you can walk your hands out into extended child's pose. If you want to add that lat stretch, work the fingertips out. If you'd like to just relax your hands down by your side, you can do that as well. Nice deep inhale and exhale. pose, but we're also stretching our lower back. Coming up onto that all fours position again, going into cat and cow. In cat and cow, initially I want you to drop your pelvis backwards. So we're tilting that pelvis posteriorly as we press through our hands, releasing our chin down towards your chest and lightly pressing into our hands to arch that upper back. On the inhale, rotating the pelvis forward this time, slightly gazing forward, opening up the abdominals. And we're exhaling back into cat. Your pelvis hinges back, your upper body rounds, chin comes towards the chest. Inhaling into cow once again, your pelvis hinging forward, slight gaze to the front. Continue on your own timing, doing a couple more cat and cow. I want you to combine the breath and the body. So you're exhaling as you go into cat and you're inhaling as you go into cow. Noticing how that feels through the spine and how those hips maybe open up as they anteriorly or posteriorly tilt as they go forward and back. Now find that neutral position again, in that flat back position, belly button pulling in, going into spinal balance pose or bird dog. I want you to shift some of your weight over to your left knee so that you can extend your right leg out and extend through the heel, but keeping the hip on the right and the left side in line with each other. If you bring that heel up, that's gonna make that hip open up and it's going to make the pelvis come out of neutral alignment. If this bothers your wrist at all, you can also go into a fist position. You can stay here or option to reach out the opposite arm, the left arm, extending it out like you're gonna shake somebody's hand. Make sure that the lower rib, the rib cage is pulled down to the pelvis and the navel's drawn in towards the spine to help support your lower back. Take a couple deep breaths in and out in this spinal balance pose. Reaching and extending in opposite directions with the foot and the hand, but feeling that stability through the core. Gently release back down. Extend out the left leg, draw the belly button in, pelvis in alignment from the right and the left side, and then extend out that right arm. Keep breathing. Your gaze is down at the mat, kind of in line with your hands so that your neck stays in neutral alignment. Couple more deep inhales and exhales. And then gently release back in. Sit back in child's pose, sitting back once again, releasing any tension through that lower back or spine. Allowing the ears to draw down in between the biceps and not holding any tension through the neck. You can stay forward in this position, or if you'd like to walk your hands over to one side to deepen that stretch a little bit more on the opposite side, you can. You should not be twisting as you're hinging forward, just stay with your arms straight out. Walking over to the other side. Still taking those nice, deep, even breaths in and out. Those exhales specifically help to turn on our parasympathetic nervous system, which allows our body to relax, allows us to get more into our poses. Walk back towards the center. Coming back onto that all fours position, we're gonna come into downward facing dog. So spreading the fingertips nice and wide, you're gonna curl your toes under. And remember, if we ever go into downward facing dog and that's not a good option for you, you can always go back to child's pose. That's a resting pose. Pressing through the pads of our fingertips, curl your toes under, and then shift that weight back towards the feet as my ears come in between my biceps and my tailbone reaches up towards the ceiling. I'm drawing my chest towards the front of my thighs. My knees can be soft or they can be extended. My heels don't have to be touching the ground. Deep breath in and out here. Option to pedal your heels as you towards the floor, feeling that stretch to the calf, to the lower part of the back of the leg. But we're still pressing back into those hands, still pulling that chest in towards the front of the thighs. Walking our feet towards the front of our mat, towards our hands, bend the knees and come into bent knee forward fold. We're going to release any and all tension through the neck and the upper back. Feeling the back side of the body open up. Breathing through the back as we inhale and exhale. With those knees soft, engaging the core, we're going to sweep our arms over our head and then bringing it down by our side. Good, bringing our hands to heart center. We're going to shift back into chair pose. Chair pose is a little bit of a quarter squat position or half squat position. Imagine a chair that's sitting back behind you. And when you sit backwards, you want to make sure that you're hinging from your hips. So it's a hip hinge as we increase that crease between the hips and the legs. Make sure that the knees track towards the second or third toe and allow those knees to come slightly forward. We're holding in the chair pose position with a neutral back alignment. So if coming lower causes our upper back to round, you want to stand up just a little bit so that the back can stay neutral. Navel's drawn in towards the spine and our gaze is forward. Draw the shoulders down and back and open a little bit. We don't want the chest to open forward. Nice deep inhale and exhale. Inhale one more time. As you exhale, reach up into extended mountain, but keeping the shoulders drawn down away from the ears. Sweeping down into bent knee forward fold again, soften the knees. Nice deep inhale and exhale. Navel drawn in towards the spine. Inhale up, reaching overhead. Drawing the hands to heart center once again, sinking back down into chair pose. Holding here, you also have an option of extending the arms out. But if your back rounds forward to extend your arms out, it's better to draw the shoulders down and away or keep the hands to heart center. I'm going to add a little bit of a balance challenge into this. As you come out of this, I want you to weight shift to your right side and have your right arm extend overhead with your left toe either engaged to the floor or lifted up into a vertical knee lift. Slight pause to hold that balanced position with your core pulled in. Draw back down into chair pose. Hands come to heart center, hips draw back. Weight shift over to my left leg as my left arm comes up, right toe engaged to the floor or lifted up off of the floor. We're going to do that one more time each side. Taking it down, navel drawn in towards the spine. Weight shift over to the right side. Opposite arm, opposite leg, extend up. Think of length through the spine. Stand all the way up straight. Drawing back down into chair pose one more time. Weight shift to the left side. Left arm up. Right knee comes up. And then gently release the arms and the legs. Standing sideways to your mat. I want you to have your feet to be pointed out as a real wide position coming into sun goddess pose. If you know what a sumo squat is, it's kind of similar to that. We're extending our arms and reaching out and away from the body. Make sure that those feet are turned out. We're going to pretend like we're sliding down a wall. So if my head was in contact with the wall that's behind me, I would be sliding down that wall as my knees track towards my second or third toe. As I draw my arms down, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together, working on those muscles that help with posture. Inhale, back up, reach up towards the ceiling, and exhale, draw back down into that sun goddess pose. Good, pressing back up, and drawing back down one time again. This time having the option to come up on one toe for a balance challenge, working our calf just a little bit. Release that heel, going over on the other foot. Release that heel, coming up, and then releasing those arms down by your side. Keeping the feet in the same position, coming into sunflower pose. Sunflower pose, imagine that there's a basket of sunflowers right below you, and you're going to be reaching down towards them and throwing them up towards the air. Now, if coming all the way down to the floor makes it so that your back doesn't stay in neutral alignment, imagine the sunflower sitting on a little table right there. So as you come down, we're grabbing those sunflowers and then reaching and tossing them into the air. As you hinge down, make sure your back is nice and flat, and then driving straight back up. The knees are tracking the exact same way that they just were with that sun goddess pose. This allows us to get a little bit deeper into those hips. It's a heat builder, so it creates warmth in through our body. Inhaling as we draw down, keeping that core engaged. Exhaling as we lift up, tossing those sunflowers into the air. One last time. And release those hands down by your side. Rotate the feet so that both toes are facing forward in the same position that your hips and shoulders are facing, going to lateral side stretch. Hand on one thigh, hinging over to the side. We're stretching out the length and leg, so the inner part of that leg. Keeping my back neutral, my neck neutral. If you have a block and you want to place it a little bit lower, or you can reach down to the floor with keeping neutral alignment through the spine, you can take that a little bit lower. Inhale, as you exhale, push through that bent knee, standing straight back up, and then bending the other knee, hand on the knee, hinging over, stretching out that other side. Same options, you can have the hands come to the floor, you can use a book or a block if you don't have a block at your house. And then pushing off that bent knee, standing back up nice and tall. Straddle forward fold. Keep your toes facing in the same position. Inhale up, hinging from the hips as you come down and forward into straddle forward fold. Relax any tension in through the neck. You can shake your head yes or shake your head no. If it feels more comfortable to soften those knees, you can soften the knees just a little bit. Focuses on lengthening through the back of the legs. A couple nice deep breaths in and out. Feeling that spine elongate as we're in this position. Not holding any tension through the neck. Soften the knees, engage the core as you sweep your arms overhead, and then bring them down to shoulder level. I want you to take your right foot and rotate it towards the same direction of the hand. We're going to soften that knee and stack it over that right ankle. So left knee's over that right ankle. In the leg position, as far as our heels and our arches, that back foot is parallel with the mat, and my front heel can either be in line with my back heel, or if that feels like I feel some pulling on my knee or my hip, I can switch that to a more of a heel to arch position. At any time you feel tension in through your knee in some of these poses, feel free to rotate that foot in just a little bit to rotate that knee and that hip. We don't want to force anything. Looking down towards our middle finger, I want you to soften the elbows just a little bit so the shoulders relax and soften. But think about strength in this warrior two pose. Feel the stability in through the legs as we draw our inner thighs in. We draw our heels and arch together, that front heel to the back arching heel. As we ground through the floor, not changing any position with the lower body, coming into reverse warrior. That back hand comes to your thigh, front hand extends up, and I'm reaching and extending backwards. Opening the right side of my body, the right front. Breathing in and out through my right lung. Relaxing my shoulders, my gaze can be up towards my fingers, or if I need more grounding, I can look down toward the floor at any time. Coming back into warrior two, gazing straight out towards that middle finger. And then relax my arms down by my sides. straighten out that front knee. We're gonna go into triangle pose. With triangle pose, you have that same option of either heel to heel or heel to arch. And you also have the option of turning that foot in just a little bit if you need to. But that front leg is straight instead of bent. I want to have my shoulders and my hips facing to the front this time. Arms are extended, reaching out as far as I can, pressing my back hip. Imagine it pulling in the opposite direction of my front arm. And I'm going to hinge to my side until my top hand touches my shin, ankle, or maybe even to the ground. The focus, though, is making sure that my rib cage is stacked and my shoulders are stacked. So I don't want to go down lower. I don't want to be rounding forward. Side angle pose is a stretch for the side of the body. Excuse me, triangle pose is a stretch that stretches out the side of the body. So we want to open that left hip up. We want to open the side of the body, rib cage, all the way there. So we'll make sure we're not rotating forward. Find a comfortable position for that neck. It may be looking and grounding down towards the floor. You also may feel a deep stretch to the hamstring. Feel free to soften that knee at any time. We don't want to lock that knee joint out. Feel that stability in through the feet. Embrace that openness through the side body. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, make sure you're pushing through that front heel, using the core to engage as you come back up, and then releasing those hands. Turn your right foot back to the front. Now this time do the same exercises but with the left foot forward. Rotate the left foot to the front and bending with that left knee, stacking it right over that left ankle. Extending those arms, reaching in opposite direction. Even though we're reaching, we're not leaning forward. We still have our hips are open, our shoulders are open, and then turning gaze down the middle finger. At any time, you can release the hands to the hips, or just soften the elbows to release any tension in through the neck. Being in the same position, coming to reverse warrior. Right hand comes back to the right thigh. Left hand palm faces up, reaches and extends back behind us. Feeling the openness on the left side of the body. You need to ground yourself, gaze down towards the floor. Squeezing our inner thighs together for support. Coming back into warrior two. And then gently release those arms down by your side. Straighten out that front leg. We're going to go into that triangle pose. Extending those arms out. Remember triangle pose. You're going to reach as that back hip extends back behind you, but keeping shoulders, rib cage, and hip open in triangle pose. So opening up that side body. Make sure that that right hip is open. Soften that left knee if you need to, and make any adjustments with that back knee if you're feeling some tension in that knee joint. Finding a comfortable gaze towards your neck. Head can be sideways, you can be gaze down, looking toward the floor, or you can even be looking up towards that top hand. Drawing that front heel towards that back heel, engaging the inner thighs, rounding through the feet, and extending through that top arm. One more nice deep breath in, and drawing back up, pulling that core back in, and releasing those hands down by your side. Step that back foot towards the front, so big step forward, inhale up, exhale, hinging forward, drawing down into forward fold. Release any tension through the neck. You can shake your head yes, or shake your head no. Holding that stretch one last time. Coming down onto all fours again. We're going to press our hips back into child's pose, releasing any tension through the neck, the back. Soften the elbows. Walking our hands back up. I want you to sit on your hip and then come onto your back, rolling onto your back. Pull both knees in towards your chest into double knee stretch, opening through that lower back. Nice deep inhale and exhale. Bring the feet together and bend the knees, feet flat on the floor, arms out to the side, either palms facing up or palms facing down. Draw your knees over to the right side. Both knees come to the right side. You can either look up towards the ceiling or turn and look in the opposite direction into spinal twist. Nice to dog supplying stretch. Coming back up towards the ceiling and then rotate them over to the other side, keeping both shoulders grounded to the floor the whole time. An option to turn and look in the opposite direction. Bringing it back up towards the ceiling. Bring your right ankle onto your left knee. If you need the strap for this, you can place it around your foot or underneath the thigh. You want to deepen that stretch, bring the left leg off the floor, opening up the piriformis muscle. It's an external hip joint opener as well. Relax the shoulders. One more deep breath in. Gently release that foot and we'll switch that over to the other side. Left ankle onto right knee. Option to deepen that stretch by bringing that right knee up, kind of pushing back into that left ankle. You can also hold underneath the thigh or place a strap around the arch of your foot or behind your thigh. Gently release. Bring your knees into your chest one last time. Sliding your hands down your shins, ankles, or your big toe, lifting your heels up towards the ceiling, and lightly pull down, stacking that ankle over the knee and pulling the knees towards the rib cage in the happy baby pose. Opening up the hips internally. And then gently release the feet down. We're going to finish in what's called Shavasana, corpse pose position. If you need support though for the lower back, you can keep your knees bent. You can slightly bring them in towards the center, or you can extend them out to the front. Rotate the hands, palms face up. Relax the shoulders. I want you to feel your shoulders in contact with the floor. So make any adjustments that you might need to feel support through the floor. And just try and focus back towards your breath like you did at the beginning of the class. Just noticing the breath. Being in the present moment with your breath. Now drawing focus to the belly. Feeling the belly rise and the belly fall with each breath. Notice more of your breath coming from your chest. And as you inhale, try to expand the belly a little bit, the rib cage and the chest. Making any adjustments you may need as your body relaxes in this pose. Noticing how your body feels supported and relaxed in this position and at this present time. Always noticing that in any part of the day, you can always practice some deep breathing. And noticing that you're taking full breaths in and out. One last inhale. And on the exhale, if you have your eyes closed, open open your eyes and start to begin to wiggle your fingers or your toes, kind of making small movements through your body, awakening your body. You have your legs extended, bend your knees, and rolling onto the side, coming into a side lying pose. Take a deep breath here. As you exhale, with that top hand, pushing yourself up into a seated position. You need that blanket to prop your hips up, you can. We have a couple quotes for you today as we close in class. There is power in stillness, having a clear mind, and peace in our soul. So at any time, we can just take a moment to take some deep breaths, take a moment to collect ourselves, to feel that stillness just like you did at the beginning and end of class today. Take a moment of gratitude as we close. Something that you're thankful for and ending the class on a positive note. We're going to close together with 2 breaths. We're going to sweep our arms overhead. On the inhale, I want you to imagine inhale in the future and exhale in the past. One more time, inhale in the future. This time, bring the hands to heart center as you exhale the past. Bringing those hands right in towards the heart. Bringing both thumbs pressing in towards the heart center. And namaste, everybody. Thank you all for joining me today. Have a wonderful day.